lucky knowing that we have somebody and there's a person of interest. Nothing feels worse than having nobody and just nothing but doubt. And 7 weeks of that, or close to 7 weeks of that, was a tremendous amount.
Brian Koberger faces 4 counts of first-degree murder.
The investigation against Brian Koberger.
Investigators are continuing to collect evidence at the scene. Investigators are working to develop a timeline to relevant events. Autopsies are taking place today on all the victims so we can continue to gather evidence and solve the crime. Investigators are working to follow up on all leads and to identify a person of interest. Based on details at the scene, we believe this was an isolated, targeted attack on our victims. We do not have a suspect at this time, and that individual is still out there. We cannot say that there's no threat to the community, and as we have stated, please stay vigilant, report any suspicious activity, and be aware of your surroundings at all times. What we don't know, the identity and location of the suspect, the location of the knife or any clothing that was worn by the suspect. Currently, we have 25 plus investigators working this case. What we don't know, the identity and location of the suspect. The knife or any clothing. The identity and location of the suspect. The location of the knife or any clothing that was worn by the suspect. Currently,
With what we know now, I believe that Fry slipped and said what we do know subconsciously, because listen to the rest of it. And now remember, 38 interviews between November 13th and 18th. This was the first presser. This was November 16th. And they did know what he was wearing. He was clad in all black with a black face mask. Did they know the location of Brian Koberger, and did they know Brian Koberger when they did this presser on November 16th? You be the judge. This is my bombshell. I believe that Fry slipped with his tongue and he was reading to say this is what we do know. Because one of those 3 things I do know that they knew. They knew that he was clad in all black and that he had a black face mask. And whoever comes out and say, we don't know what he was wearing, why would you even need to say that?
what we don't know, the identity and location of the suspect, the location of the knife or any clothing that was worn by the suspect. Currently, we have 25.
Did law enforcement know it was Brian Koberger on November 16, 2022 from that slip of the tongue? And based off of the way the investigation went with search warrants, I believe yes, they had that name by November 16th, 2022. And I also believe that of the 38 interviews that took place between November 13th and 18th, that one of those 38 coughed up Brian Koberger's name. All right, guys, I want to take us back here for a second. Let me see if we can do this. So I want to do this. Yes. What is up, guys? Welcome back. This was back in April of 2023. And both of these, one of them I made in March of 2023, and the other one was April of 2023. Now, I want you guys to take a look at this craziness, okay? This is crazy. The reason that I said that, I mean, you guys know that I didn't have anything more than anybody else, right? Except, I don't know, maybe my brain, but I said, before 2:45 a.m., someone places a DoorDash order for Xana at 1122 King Road from Jack in the Box. It could have been Xana, it could have been somebody else, but we just know that. And I was like, wait, how did we know? Okay, I said, before 2:45 a.m., someone places, and then I went back and looked at my notes. The reason that I knew this is because Jack in the Box would not take any orders if you did not have your order in by 2:45 back then. You couldn't place an order. So that's how I was able to say this back in March of 2023, because of the research, talking to people. I went back and looked at my notes from back then. So I just knew that before 2:45 a.m., someone places a DoorDash order for Xana. Because all we knew in the probable cause is that the DoorDash was dropped off at 4, right? So I want to remind everybody that if you did not get your DoorDash order in by 2:45, okay, then you weren't able to even order from Jack in the Box because they shut it down. Now, I truly want you to start thinking about this. Ready? What it would seem like is that Molly, or whoever was going to pick up that order, that would seem like that Molly has to make this trip because either she has this order in her car. Think about this. From potentially 2:30, 2:35, just chilling in her car while she's driving back over, and then gets back over to Moscow at 2:50, 2:51, so that she could like give that second of the 3 orders. It now is a absolute bombshell. It is an absolute bombshell. It wouldn't be like Molly accepted an order. Remember when she says that I accepted an order after I left, and then there was this stuff in between? This is absolute craziness. Molly could not have accepted an order after 2:45, because if you didn't place it by 2:45, you weren't getting an order, right? So what does this truly mean? What does this truly mean when you know that Molly couldn't have said that she took any more orders after that? And this is so important because you just physically could not. You physically could not, because you were not able to. And I went back and pulled out. I was like, I had to go back in the cut to find this. This is an absolute mega bombshell. Molly was unable to pick up any order that would be taking her to Jack in the Box after 2:45. So when she says that she left, even dropping off the 4:00 one, and she's like, oh, that was my last order there, but I had another one in Pullman. Okay. I was like, dude, we're going to go back to the beginning. Okay. I want to look at my stuff back from the beginning. And so I was like, I pulled out all this stuff. Please understand this. This is absolutely crazy. Molly couldn't have accepted a DoorDash from Jack in the Box after 2:45. Now, Xana's was put in at 2:15, and Molly hit the I will accept that DoorDash. Boop, click. So that means she clicked the button at 2:15 because that's when the DoorDash was placed. And you know that somebody's taking your order once it's like connected. Boom, you have a DoorDasher. Okay. So that means Molly clicked the button at 2:15. And our big question is, well, Molly was in Pullman. Why would Molly come across, to this other campus, right, without her order? There's no way. There is absolutely no way. And there's also no way, right, that they're gonna cut you off at Jack in the Box to give you anything because the order's cut off. Okay. So so we're gonna take it from the top again. Welcome to the transparency. This is absolutely wild. And I'm gonna lay it all out. I'm gonna use Hector. I really appreciate you guys being here. Let's do this because this is an absolute fucking mega bombshell. Before 2:45 a.m., someone places a DoorDash order. We know that it was Xana. They say it was Xana. They say it was on her phone. It was at 2:15. Check this out. Back when I made this video in 2023, this is what Google Maps is like. This is how if you were to type in the internet, DoorDash driver picks up the order from Northeast Stadium Way. Check this out. DoorDash driver puts the location of their delivery order in their GPS, or rather, DoorDash does that themselves in that map. And the question was back in March, and it was like, did the DoorDash driver get lost? Did the DoorDash driver get lost? The name of this episode is Idaho4 DoorDash driver got lost, exclamation point. DoorDash driver got lost, exclamation point. Now, it says here, 24 minutes later, your GPS would have you rounding past the 1122 King Road house. Take a look at this. You cannot find this today. You are unable. They have all this blurred out. You're not able to do this. So take a look at this. I did it. I remember doing this back so many different ways. And if you were to type in the address of 1122 King Road, this is how it would tell you to drive. Okay. And you would be passing it. And then it's going to try to have you walk through the back, like Molly was saying. Okay. Dude, this is, the most circumstantial evidence you'll ever find that I believe that Molly was 1000% coached. There is no way that Molly would remember that her maps told her to do this. No way. But guess who's would? Guess what type of people would? Cops. Cops that went ahead and did exactly what I was doing. As soon as I got my hands on that probable cause, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, okay, hey, type it in, Jack in the Box 211122 King. Let's see how it takes you there. Okay. This was even before we knew anything about Molly, in any of her path or anything. I was all about how the hell, what direction it would take you, to pay attention to, because if we had Linda Lane, which we didn't even have at the time, but I just knew that we would have, eventually we would have, because there's cameras and stuff. So I want to know this path of travel. If you were coming from Pullman, especially Jack in the Box, this location, how would you go? And this is when I was like, holy shit. I put this out back in the day and I said, look at this, guys. This is nuts. I said, remember when I said that there was a car that was circling, and I was like, do we think the DoorDash driver got lost? Could the multiple loops be because the DoorDash driver got lost? Things like that. It would then come full circle where we get to actually hear Molly, and Molly's over here talking about how her maps wanted her to go into the back. This is exactly what and how it would be showing you that. But Molly didn't remember that shit. Molly didn't. Come on. Are you absolutely out of your mind? Molly didn't come forward. This, especially the amount of time that she had gone back there, she said she was, you guys, the people that would know this and that coached her to talk about it are the police or a friend. But I highly doubt it's going to be a friend that's just as dense as she is. This is what the map though looks like. It would take you around to turn like this. And do you see right where that, she says, I turned right where the dumpster was. I parked right where the dumpster was, and then there was that entrance. Okay. This is 1000%. The most This is the most circumstantial evidence you're ever going to find in Molly's statements to Brett Payne on 11/23 in that interview. And it was not the first time that Molly talked to the police. So this is from the other angle. King Road is right there where the red dot is. So just looking at it from the other angle, if Molly's following her, lovely maps, she's going to come down Queen, and then she's not going to like keep going straight, right? She's going to make a right, and that's when she's like, okay, so I go to the back, and it wanted me to walk into the back, but I didn't feel comfortable doing that. Well, let me tell you something right here. That's a lie. It's exactly what she did. Whoever delivered the DoorDash here, 1000% walk to the back, and because that's what it's telling you to do. You want to know why you would do this? Because the way that house would look, the house would look like it could be a potentially like a duplex, a quad. Molly, when she wanted to be specific and say like, I didn't do that because I didn't feel comfortable, blah, 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 bullshit. Think about it this way. If Molly did, in fact, walk up and actually leave the food by the back door, okay? Think about it. Think about it. And now think about the fact that when did Molly truly do this? There was a vehicle that came through that, later this SUV, and we just assume like, okay, hey, that's Molly's vehicle. Well, guys, guess what? There's a lot of things that we have to talk about. And the first thing would be is that Molly would have had that food in her possession way earlier, because why would you ever leave Pullman without the order that you just clicked on at 2:15? You're not going to leave and then make yourself, oh, hey, I'm going to drive and I'm going to go back and come back. You're never going to do that. You click the button to say, I'm accepting this. And you accepted it at 2:15. You are in Pullman. You are never going to leave to go to Moscow without that order. Never. Never. But what you're going to hear Molly try to say, or potentially the state, for them to try to say, well, no, Molly, when she clicked on that order to accept it, oh, wait, you're going to try to say that Molly was in Moscow when she did that? That's the only way that she would go back there, right? And how she would have to take, 20 minutes and 20 minutes, right? But still, that wouldn't put you coming, an hour and 45 minutes later. I mean, let's understand something. Xana put this order in at 2:15. The only thing that's telling us that Xana didn't get this order until 4 is because Molly clicked a button that said, oh, delivered. When Bertie and I talked the other night, Bertie said, do you think that it could have been an automated message from DoorDash saying, are you having trouble finding the place? Or are you having trouble, whatever the generic thing would be, okay? And I thought about that. And I'm thinking, yeah, actually, maybe. Because think about this, okay? A college kid saying that phrase versus Xana being like, where are you? Like ETA. Remember when Molly's talking about how the kids talk? Like when you're personally writing in your own thing, it's not going to sound like it was like a button that you would click and then it's like AI kind of automated. Like, so was that actually DoorDash asking her, are you having trouble finding, is that DoorDash? Is there any way to, truly take a look at that, get more into that? But this actually makes no sense, none, that Molly would click at 2:15 to say, okay, I'm going to take that order. Okay. And the reason that we know that Molly is coming to the area because she's claiming that she has those 2 other deliveries before she drops off the delivery at 4. We've gone through all these vehicles, not just the vehicles on 1112, but we've also done Linda Lane. And there's only so many cars that come. And there's only so many cars that could potentially be Molly's. So by process of elimination, we're able to say that Molly, you could have only been, if you say that he came to that area 3 times, and this is the third one, the 2 times before that, even if we use every car that comes by without us doing our due diligence to say that we can eliminate it based off of it coming and we seeing it on 112 camera, then we know that it's not Molly. Even based off of that, it's still just a small percentage of cars. So we're able to have a list, like a word bank that has all these times that just could even be potentially Molly. Then once we do our due diligence and we eliminate the stuff that we can eliminate based off of a 1112 camera, then we get to such a smaller pool of options of, okay, this is only the options because everything else is accounted for. And that's where when you do this process of elimination, like you're supposed to do when you're investigating, if you have a working theory, you're supposed to do a lot of things to poke holes at it. But when you don't have a working theory, you need to follow the evidence. And that's just not what happened here because it's right in front of our faces. Why would Molly be in Pullman and not pick up the 215 order that she just clicked on? Back in 2022, you would need multiple accounts and devices to be doing your double dashing in 2022. Not only that, the only thing that's telling us that Molly didn't deliver this earlier, like at 2:51, is because she just didn't click the button that said delivered. Also, Molly knows, what are the odds that Molly knows that how this map is telling you to go and do this? Do you think that Molly's going to remember something like that? Fuck no. Hell no. Hell to the no. Not only is she slamming correct that it tells you to go past and go around like this, okay? But it then shows you the walking pattern to go back into the back part of the house. And back there, you're thinking that these are all different apartments. So you would have actually followed that. You wouldn't have said, I don't feel comfortable going that way. You would have followed your freaking dots. And you would have seen, oh, guess what? The whole porch is all lit up and it's all, and she's over here talking about that it was all open. Yeah, exactly, Molly. So you either have a vivid memory of that because you walked the fuck up there just like you did. But we've never to this day ever have seen a picture in front of the door that's down at the front door. There's no picture that has surfaced where the food, the Jack in the Box food is sitting at the front door. In fact, the Jack in the Box food is in the kitchen. The bag is. It's right there in the kitchen. And remember back in the day, I said, what are the odds that why wouldn't someone just take the bag to their room if they're going to go eat in their room? You know, the food, like, I'm going to go put the bag in the kitchen to take all my stuff out individually. Like, why would I want to carry 3 different items? I'm going to take the bag with me into my room. If I'm going to eat in my room, why wouldn't I just take the bag in my room? Well, Lana, it's because she wants to put it on a plate. Do you guys see that house? Well, Lana, but there was a plate. And I was like, yeah, and there were French fries. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I said, but think about it. If the bag was at the front steps, what are the odds that she even goes to the kitchen and does anything like that? Versus, hey, the bag was brought to the back step, or hey, why is Maddie calling Xana? Hey, your DoorDash is here. Hey, your DoorDash is here. And then I thought about it and I said, oh my God. And I stopped dead in my tracks. And I said, holy shit, this is exactly what happened. If you take the food from the DoorDash driver, they can't take a picture because they just handed it to you. And that's exactly what happened here. Maddie is out on the back porch, standing out on the back porch. Maddie calls who? Calls Bethany, calls Xana. What time? 2:53. 2:53. 2:53 to say what? Oh, somebody walked up and I have your DoorDash. I collected it from you. You know, this whole time when Bethany wanted to say, oh, Murphy was missing. That's why Maddie came to my room. Maddie came to your room and she called you? Or was Maddie wondering which one of y'all motherfuckers ordered DoorDash? Molly can say all day that she took a picture of the delivery. It is not in evidence. And let me tell you when that happens. That happens when you give the DoorDash to somebody and it's not sat down by the door and you don't take a picture of it because you gave it to somebody. And I remember Molly saying, yeah, that was a contact. She referred to it as a contactless delivery. And I'm like, yeah, like Molly would remember that. Fuck, get out of here. So as I'm trying to walk everybody through this, you have to understand, I firmly believe everything is on the table until you can eliminate it. And right now, go find me the picture of what? Well, of so Lana, you're basically saying that Molly, when she clicks that button as it was like delivered, that's just clearing it out. That's exactly what I'm saying. And if we look at what's her tits, Maddie's outgoing calls, Maddie calls who? Well, Maddie calls Xana and Maddie calls Bethany. Bethany never talks about the fact that Maddie called her. Bethany says, oh, Maddie was looking for the dog. Really? Because we don't have the dog barking at all. That the dog's loose. But, you know, what? I don't buy that. Fuck that. Maddie's not here to talk, to speak up for herself. Bullshit. Get out of here. So we really need to understand that, do we believe that Molly, who didn't come forward, Molly hears about the biggest freaking case in the country, if not worldwide. Molly doesn't say to herself, oh my God, I delivered. No, they have to go find her. They have to go find Molly through a geofence. They didn't find it through. None of the girls came forward and said that our roommates, that, oh, Xana ordered a DoorDash. Not a single interview even asks the question. Like, did you guys order DoorDash? You know, last night, do you guys ever order DoorDash? They stay so like away from that to even just like to see if it would jog a memory. Do not ask about the DoorDash. Do not ask about the DoorDash. Wouldn't that be one of the first things that you would ask? Like, hey, you're going to sit here and tell me that the girls were all trying to order food, getting Eric, oh, let's go. And then Xana just what? Xana orders food at the same time at 2:15. That's literally just 3 minutes after everybody was just talking about that they wanted food. Then you think Molly clicks on it. She's in Pullman, but she's like, fuck that. I'm not going to take it with me. What? I'm just going to forget to grab it. And I'm just going to go travel to Moscow. La-da-da-da-da. And then I'm going to say to myself, oh, wow, I totally forgot to get that order. The only order that I would be supposed to be taking. Let me just go back and get it. And then they're going to have to remake it for me. What? What? And then I thought to myself, wow, talk about a big old scam here for you to eat some food yourself. So, like, Molly actually really does deliver the food, but she acts like she doesn't because she's going to go back and say, what, I forgot to pick it up, or it was the wrong order, or it was cold. Like, I need to get something. And then just so Molly can have food because Molly's poor. Molly's homeless. Molly was literally had no money. Molly's homeless. And you don't think that somebody that's like, that would be a sweet way to steal at the end of the night and be able to get food yourself? Fuck yeah, that would be. And you know what? I wouldn't blame Molly for doing it. Right? Here's a way for me. So I'm not gonna press the delivery button, right? I'm just saying right now, I just put 5, 6, 7 things on the table that all of them can still be there. But for there not to be a picture of when Molly left it there is the biggest problem in the world. Because her order was at 2:15 and Molly was coming from Pullman. So why wouldn't she wait like she did? Because I don't believe that she gets on over to the area until 2:51, 2:52. And that's plenty of time that you would have waited for a 2:15 order that got placed. You're picking it up. You're leaving at 2:35. You're getting over to that area at 2:51. I don't give a fuck if she said she took a goddamn picture. That doesn't mean shit. In fact, they couldn't find it. It didn't get turned over with DoorDash. I don't care if she says she took a picture. Molly can say whatever the fuck she wants, just like anybody can. That doesn't mean it's fucking true. And how would Molly remember if she took a picture? You know how many orders Molly took? She was working 18 hours. Really, Molly? You remember taking that picture? You remember, here, close your eyes, girl. Let me just fucking walk you through this. Or you walk us through it. Like, let's just have this. Get out of here. Again, the order was at 2:15. If Molly clicks yes to take the order, Molly's in Pullman when she's saying yes. They have a pen, trap, and trace on that shit. You would know where Molly was at 2:15. If Molly is in fact in Pullman, you would never leave Pullman without that fucking order. Ever. Ever. You would never do it. Ever do it. You would never do it. Because the whole point is that you click that you could accept the order means that you're available to be able to take the order. That means you're all cleared out of your orders. So she takes on the 2:15 order, which would mean that when she would be coming back, it's at like the almost 3 o'clock hour, the 2:51 hour. How the fuck is Ann Taylor just accepting any of this? How is Ann Taylor? I'm over here not accepting it back, and I don't even have the discovery. This is April and March of 2023. I'm making these videos. Asking myself after I saw the interview with Molly doesn't, and there's no way Molly's going to be knowing these details like this. No way, but guess who would? The fucking cops. And somebody fed her this shit. Just like they fed her that you parked at the dumpster and that you walked over here because they were trying to pay attention to the car movement so they could fucking tell her what the fuck to do. Walking. Yeah, you know why? Because Molly was getting in a car. Molly was trying to find the person that was, because she's still up there doing whatever the fuck she's doing because somebody else was actually using her car for doing God knows whatever reason. But what it looks like to me is that Molly is trying to find not a house. She's walking in the middle of the goddamn road trying to find the car. Like, where are you? It's like Molly came up from the Whites, from like up those stairs, and then she walks to the right, okay? Because she's trying to find wherever the heck she needs to be. And I would love to know, let's see Molly's phone. What type of phone calls was she making? Who was she calling? Who was texting her? What's her phone activity? Again, now read this right here. I'll pause it. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on Queen Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appears to unsuccessfully attempt to park or to turn around in the road. Now, the vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and then did its little, completing that 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. And here with this, I said, wow, was this car like lost? You know what I mean? Like, what's it doing? It's trying to park, or is the DoorDash driver got lost? Because if you're paying any attention to, remember how Molly said, like, it's all about your times. It's all about your times. So like, even if you're just close enough to the area, you can actually click the button that says that you've already delivered it, even though you didn't. You can do that back in the day. And then wouldn't somebody be, if you're Xana, I think a very strong circumstantial position would be that if Xana has no commands on her phone from 2:15 until 3:54, when this supposed Xana's phone would say that she was into the DoorDash app and that she used it, and that she then sent out that, are you lost or whatever? Okay. How about this? Ready? How come the probable cause affidavit doesn't fucking have that? That's a command on Xana's phone that would have been there. Okay. And it would have been available to know that Xana got into her DoorDash app at 3:54 and actually hit or typed up that saying to then send it. Wouldn't you put that? Yeah, you would. That's a very important thing. Very important thing. And so this is giving more credence to, was it DoorDash asking her, do you need help? Like, are you having problems finding the place? And so the question would be is there even something like that would even kick in to ask you that? Because remember, according to Molly, nobody ever wrote her anything. Remember, they asked, like, did anybody send you anything? And she's like, no. Oh, so she remembers everything, like, oh, the map, it told me to go like this, and then it told me to walk through this, but I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. No, I bet you did. You walked straight through that. 1,000%. If you were door dashing, you would have thought that, oh, I needed those are the special instructions, whatever. That's where I need to take it. But you don't recall that your phone, as you're staring at your map, is lighting up at 3:54 to say, are you having trouble? Are you lost? You don't recall that though, do you? Did the DoorDash driver pass up the residence and turn around at Queen number 52 and then pass up the little side street again that goes to the back of the house? This is me trying to understand why, what do you mean a car was circling and then this little description? I'm like, dude, it seems like whoever was in this car was either all the spots were taken because it's college night, and when you get home late from something, then you're like the odd person out to try to find a parking spot because it sucks to do that, right? But then I'm like, but if you're the DoorDash driver, they have this huge big parking lot. Why aren't you just pulling straight in there? And especially if it's telling you, like, look at this. It's showing you. Let's back up a little bit more. Okay. I mean, it's literally showing you that right here, that there's this huge ass, you see it. There's this huge ass parking lot right here. Okay. Like this is like, and that's when she's like, that's when she tries to say like, well, then I came down the hill Well, first of all, she says is she's like, I sped out of there. I sped away. Like, I got out of there so fast. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, it's almost like you're trying to like take the movements of the white car. So guys, listen to this. When Molly's saying that she's getting lost and doing whatever, right? I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so lost. But yeah, then I came down, then I pulled in, and it's like Molly was told everything that car did. Everything. And Molly started getting some things wrong. Right? Molly started getting some things wrong. But why would Molly ever walk down this hill and totally pass up and go all the way down to where she would know that I'm going to be seen on camera? Who would know that? Well, the cops know where all the cameras are, right? Hey, walk down there and go get on that camera. Who would ever tell you to do that? Well, you're a CI, so we need you to do that. Why? Because we need you to walk down there. This is absolutely crazy that Ann Taylor was ever able to get past anything about this when you actually have all the information. When you know that Molly couldn't have accepted a DoorDash after 2:45, because if you didn't get your DoorDash order in before 2:45, you were not able to get, Jack in the Box. So Molly couldn't have taken a order after 4 o'clock when she supposedly hit the button that says, unless she's doing what Gower's doing and that she has people hitting her up. Okay. And just giving her, hey, I'm just giving you an order to go get, and then you're going to go get my food and I'm just paying you. And I'm not even using the app. But then like some of the calls, like she is, but then she's doing, besides that, she's taking her own personal calls, right? But there's no way that Molly could have left here after 4 o'clock and have picked up another order, because DoorDash with Jack in the Box, you had to get your order in by 2:45. So, and Molly is straight rolling. This is exactly what happened in the Jamie Brown case back in Aliquippa in 2001. 99. Was it 99, 2001? When an officer was killed. And an officer killed another officer, and they framed a black guy, a young black male. And then X amount of years would pass, and then Sheldon, he went through the cycle of being framed. But the only person that's going to be able to give Molly this type of like memory and recollection is the Popo, who have this information. But if Molly actually provided the DoorDash into the hands of Maddie, right, who's out there, and then Maddie's has either she calls Xana, she calls Bethany, neither one of them answer. And guess what? Why would Xana never call her back? Let's talk about Xana's outgoing phone records. Let's talk about the commands. Who was Xana texting with? How are you going to put... So if Xana was given the food, and she started eating a little bit of it, that doesn't mean that she ate it at 4. It doesn't mean that she ate it at 4:12. I mean, it's seriously right in front of our faces. What's this geofence look like with Molly? And I do not want to hear a goddamn thing about that stupid Subaru. I want to know about the 251 car, and it's a truck. We want to know about that. We want to know if you're going to clock Molly, you got to clock her on all three. You got to clock Molly on everything that she's saying because she's making this up. She's being provided information. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to give Molly credit that she doesn't come forward and yet she can totally remember like it's the back of her hand every single movement that she made on the night of a murder that she doesn't come forward on for weeks. And she never came forward and they actually had to come get her ass. And then the cops have to lie in a report and say which order that this happened, making it seem like Molly came forward. Get the fuck out of here. And then you got the Gonsalves' family doing, I think, their due diligence is like, hey, we want information on Molly. And then the Antillia wanted to know why they wanted information on Molly. Molly had more protection or just as much as Dylan and Bethany. Let that fucking sink in. We knew Bethany and Dylan's names. We did not know Molly's name. Bethany and Dylan went through the ringer. Molly's just like, da, 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 da. God, Molly, what a great memory. Molly says, I pulled right up in front of the dumpster that she says it was right in front of like what she tries to say is like the entryway. Like, so you either can say it's the entryway to the drive to go up or the house. And that, but her GPS was telling her to walk, you know, because you're looking at this and it wanted me to go in. What, Molly? What did it want you to do? If you were standing right here, you would just walk straight up. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're so full of shit, Molly. It's okay though. We know. All right, so I have a question to ask you guys. Do you think it's at all possible? Do you think it's at all possible that she comes to deliver Xana's food at 2:51, 2:52, okay? And then the girls are like, "Oh my God, we want food, we want food." And Molly's like, "Okay, I can go get you guys food. What do you guys want?" Doesn't click off on the app. Okay, doesn't click off on the app. And then because Molly's working in tandem with like people that have white cars and shit, and who knows, maybe Molly was even in one of those cars, regardless. But if you're going to try to pull like an Eric Gower, you're not going to register that shit, right? You're not going to register like I can go there and pick it up and I can be in the drive-through line because guess what? DoorDash doesn't let me do past 2:45. But once I come into contact with you, then I can you can still go get it for me and bring it back and I can just pay you, but I can't do it through the app. And it's like, oh shit, Lan, I see what you're saying. So Xana's order, right? Because like, think about it. Molly's going to walk it up and she gets distracted because all the girls were like, remember, nobody called Dylan. Nobody was calling Dylan at 253, 252, right? 251, 50, nothing. And so it was like, Molly is like giving this food and oh my God, hey, we want food. Oh my God, will you bring us here? I'll give you. And like, let's just say that they hand the girl $40. Like, here, can you just go, like, keep the change? Like, can you bring it back? Like, or what if one of them ride with her? Hey, take me there. I'll pay you, bring me back. Okay. At the end of the day, that is totally something that hungry, drunk college students would do. And so what that would mean is she never clicks off that she got rid of that delivery. Somebody leaves with her. They go there, they come back, right? But when she went there, who's to say that Molly didn't? I don't know. Maybe Molly's in a white car now. At the end of the day, I just think that there's so many possibilities because Molly's so fucking sketchy with the people that she deals with, aka as well as being a CI, but she's got sketchy people. I mean, hello, Janelle. Like, look at all this crazy shit. They're doing wild shit. They're just idiots. You know what I mean? They're just fucking no brains. And so when you mix drinking and people getting high, driving, college campus, like trying to make sense of the data, and especially when the cops don't actually ask any questions, don't go and get everybody's data and to compare it all. Fuck. But it's just always the Molly's like, Molly, why are you walking around again? Well, because when I came back there, I came into and I pulled into the whites. And so then I'm trying to find these girls who wanted me to go back and get this order for them. So I didn't know where I was. And I'm walking all over. You know what I mean? Think about that. If you're all hanging out at the white, oh my God, will you go get us? Oh my God, go get us this, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, I can't order DoorDash right now because it had to be in before 2:45 and it's after that. Think about it. And then so when Molly tries to say that she takes an order after 4 o'clock, get the fuck out of here. You can't. Not at Jack in the Box. You have to have your DoorDash order in by 2:45. And even in her interview, she talks about that they stopped taking whatever. She even mentions it. So if we think Eric Gower is okay to just do what he's doing and he's going to make more money versus, especially also if they're getting rid of their, maybe other supplies. And so this is something that they normally do anyways. But there's just no investigation. There's no investigation. And we're just supposed to believe what? Show me Xana typing in that, are you lost? Show me that. Show me why Xana, or if you're going to take Molly's word, who the hell was up in the third floor bathroom? Who's up there? Who's up there? They're supposed to be sleeping. Or you're going to put what? A Xana up there? What? That doesn't make any sense. Why would Xana be all the way up on the third floor? Why would any of these people be all the way? Well, unless they're doing something they shouldn't be, like, I don't know, maybe Dylan's up there doing you know what. You guys, the state just wants it both ways. The state wants to say this, and then they just want it to be ignored on what it means if you do say that. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yuri says $40 for a ride to the Jack in the Box. No, I'm good. Well, but it's clear as day that there's no way that Molly is coming back from Pullman and coming to that area before 3 o'clock and not having Xana's food. That's the only reason that you're coming this way. Molly, because you may be able to tell Brett Payne that you're just so backed up on orders, but I would know that you can't take another order until you're signed out of an order. Back in 2022, like what do you think this is? And then she would have to admit, well, yeah, actually you can, because I had multiple phones. I'm a big old drug dealer, multiple phones. Start admitting things. So remember, Molly didn't come forward. And to think that Ann Taylor, and I know that Ann Taylor was not looking into Molly at all. I'll never reveal my sources, but there was no they never thought that Molly was shady, or it was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, there was nothing about Molly in this incident. And I'm like, okay, well, how about this for the record? Maybe Molly could have been at the wrong place at the wrong time, but the life of Xana was extended, because if Xana didn't really write in, where are you? Are you lost? Whatever the hell she wrote at 3:54, and that was automated thing. If Xana didn't actually do that, and also if Xana did not put in actually for the order at 2:15, and Xana's phone's not doing anything, and there's nobody knows where either one of her or Ethan have been, why are you just accepting that? That's bizarre. And I know that one person on her team wasn't accepting it, and his name was Chris Holland. Chris Holland was like, this happened at 2:53. It started. This started at right before 3:00. He was pushing that. And I'm over here like, amen, yes. Why, if you're Ann Taylor, wouldn't you be like, oh my God, well, yeah, like, because it's like a no-brainer. Then your client couldn't have done this. If this began at 2:53, hello? How is Ann Taylor not accepting that? If Chris Holland is saying that, that means the evidence that he was looking at could back it up. You understand that? There's no way that Chris Holland is going to be saying that if the evidence couldn't back it up. And that tells me that the phone evidence is indicative of that. Like, that you can show that with the phone evidence. And you know what started to bug me more and more is people think that Jack D is lying. You guys, why wouldn't Jack D just say that he started a phone conversation and fell asleep? You know how many couples do that? I'm on the phone with you and we're talking, and then I just doze off and I fall asleep. But here he's like, I didn't talk to her at all. He doesn't even remember the text messages. But do you see just Van Leuven just like, Would you have a password on your phone? Could one of your roommates have been using your phone? Did you guys hear that? Sure didn't. Like, and then when he says that Maddie, it's unusual for Maddie to call him, he doesn't inquire about that. Like, he doesn't think that that's weird. Like, yeah, well, why is Maddie calling you? Why would Maddie call you? Where was there any more push on that? I mean, how fucking bad is Van Leuven? I mean, just fucking god awful. Awful. So how it looks to me is that Maddie was given potentially the DoorDash, and Molly, just being Molly, doesn't click the button to say that it's been, delivered. And then you have Maddie making phone calls to see whose fucking DoorDash this is. Okay. Because she calls both Xana and Bethany, and neither one of them answer. And then what it seems like to me is potentially what actually Maddie went and did is she went to by Bethany's room and said, hey, did you order a DoorDash? And over here, Bethany's over here saying she was asking me if I had Murphy because she's just hammered and doesn't really remember what the fuck that was truly all about. But it was really to ask you, like, did you order a DoorDash? And she's saying no. The reason that I'm saying that Maddie could be potentially with this DoorDash is because Maddie is picking up a phone and didn't just call Jack D 3 times. Maddie makes 2 additional calls, and that would be to Xana and Bethany, of which neither one of them answer, and neither one of them call her back. And there's reasons that you wouldn't call somebody back, as if like, oh, you walked in the house, or then here you were able to hand it off to Xana. You know, oh, here's your, because I was outside because Molly came through the back where I was letting out the dog, right? And I'm out there with the back with the dog because guess what? Bethany wanted nothing to do with talking about, oh, I was out there for like 10 seconds and then I came in and I was so tired and I grabbed my chips, but I left them in the living room. Those chips needed to be in Bethany's room and they're not. Those chips are in the living room, which tells me that that's a lie. How did the chips end up in the living room? How did that happen? Once Bethany went downstairs, she never came back up. So how do the fucking bag of chips, how did those get the fuck upstairs? After she took them, and there's no bag of chips in her bedroom. So it wasn't like that was a different bag. Find me a picture with chips in Bethany's bedroom. Or in the garbage, you know, because she ate them all, and so she threw them away. This is absolutely ridiculous. And the only way that I can get down with the killer being the person that is leaving at 4:20 and some change is if they were there earlier and to be able to get into that car. And how do we, I just think that this is also pretty hilarious, is how are we just saying that the car that came at 4:08, you know, for whatever, 4:01, 4:04, whatever the heck time it was, 4:04, how are we just going ahead and saying like, yep, boom, that's the same car that's leaving, that's bolting out of there? How are we doing that? Well, that's pure speculation because you can't make out the car that's leaving. There's a lot of white cars that look like that. There's like 7 or 8, 9 different models that could be that car that left. But Mark B will tell you, but if you break down, it does match an Elantra. Okay. Does it also match a Fusion? Right here. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time frame. Says vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time, approximately at 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on, they say, King Road, right? Stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52, and then driving back because remember, it doesn't make the whole loop around. It decides to do this car, you guys. It does it doesn't do the same path that the previous 3 trips does. Okay, making those 3 loops around. All right, and how that car goes. This vehicle that comes in at 4:04, it doesn't do the same thing that the car did the first 3 times. It doesn't make that full loop around the first time. Okay, and that's a problem for me. That tells me that car is different than the first 3 that made the loop, in my opinion. Why would the same person decide, you know what? It's almost like they don't, the 3 loops around before that, that's somebody knowing that it loops around. The fourth time, that's somebody that's not sure where that's headed, and I'm not going to go too far, so I'm going to go and I'm going to back up and I'm going to come back down. It's a totally different mindset. It's a totally different person driving. So I believe that who's ever driving the fourth loop with that vehicle is not the same person that was driving the first 3 loops. Make sense? If you want to say it's the same car, sure. But it is not the same person driving, in my opinion. Because why wouldn't that person just continue to make the loop that they did the first 3 times? Ah, Lana, I see what you're saying. Yeah, good. It's like they don't know that they can continue to go. Like they rather just, hey, let me just turn around here and go back. And that's why I said to myself, it seems like this person had a map, right? And it seems like if we actually attribute what Molly says to the movements of this car, could that be potentially we're getting somewhere? If we listen to, because Molly says that she just flew away. And I'm just like, what? She's like, yeah, I sped off. And I'm like, that is just so weird to say, Molly. Because the only car I see speeding away is the 420 car. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, do you guys really feel like that Forrester's flying? I don't know. I know that she has a Forester. I know that she has an SUV, right? Does the white car drop someone off on the lane in one of the passes? 1,000%. It does. The first loop, 1,050%. That first loop, it's a minute longer than all the other ones. Why? Well, because somebody's getting in, somebody's getting out. But the path of travel on the fourth is nothing like the first 3 loops. And so I just think that there's a different person that's in the driver's seat. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Build a tree, grow a house. Cheers. Love to run. Love it. EJ 1983. Is that your birthday year? Lisa. Thank you so much. 5 Truth and Transparency memberships. Again, we have 3 new members. Congratulations. You are now officially on your way to be making a baby here in 9 months. Thank you so much there, Lisa. Let's be honest. I'm just kidding. It says, let's be honest. Let's be honest. That's really what it says. I'm confused why the food didn't come from the Taco Bell at $14.29. It's because it wasn't Taco Bell. That it literally 1.25 miles away. This is Jack in the Box they ordered from. So Taco Bell, there is no order that we haven't received. Like there's nothing there that says that anybody ordered Taco Bell, but who knows if they even looked hard enough. Cherie, amazing point. Molly handed the delivery to a person. That is what I'm talking about. And I think that the person was Maddie at 2:52, she starts calling Xana and Bethany, of which neither one of them answer, but we'd actually need the incoming calls. I'd rather have their logs to say that for sure. But I was like, wait a second, why is Maddie calling Xana and Bethany, but not Dylan? Kaylee only calls Jack D. That's it. Maddie calls Jack D, Bethany, and Xana. Is this Crystal? Who's this? Is it Cry? I don't know. Oh my God, I almost sent something inappropriate. Hey, Lana, you should send inappropriate shit. It's the best. Don't be bashful. Thank you there. Is it Chryslums? Yuri's math teacher. We got to do some math. What's up, buddy? 5 Truth and Transparency memberships. Who is turning green on Yuri's back? Yuri, you goddamn giver, you. Out here pleasing all the women, the true crime women of TNT. Sarah, what is up, girl? Sarah's fucking fabulous. For a couple people that asked when I was like, hey, if you can help me create some spreadsheets, Sarah had that shit within, I don't even know, 12 hours, 24 hours. Sarah, thank you so much. She's been a member for 19 months. She's also has that lovely blue wrench there. You did it. We did it. Goat. She's a good cat. Thank you so much, Sarah. You are a very, very talented individual and a phenomenal team player. Bunny Murphy, member for 17 months. On my way to baby number 2. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's awesome. Pieces of April gifted 5 Truth and Transparency memberships. Thank you so much. And back to back with Pieces of April, John Leonard, 5 Truth and Transparency memberships. So again, just nothing like some givers here. I love it. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. So if you're green now, it's because of them. So again, this video was made March and April, both of these 2 videos. You know, all this talk, because it's so important that they really rope up that this vehicle originally, when they thought that their suspect was either Jack Showalter and Chestnut or Jack Decor, right? What did they think of this vehicle then? Nothing. In fact, that's not true. They did think of this vehicle. And guess who claimed the vehicle? The undercovers. The undercovers claimed the white car that made circles going around and said, on the last one that we did, we came down, did the same loop every time. And on the one right before we pulled over the people at the band field, I had seen people like walking and going into the house, and they were blonde. They were trying to talk about like what they kind of looked like. And they were like, there was no reason to like mess with them or do anything with them. And I said to myself, who the fuck is that? They have people walking up to like go in towards the house of 1122. And I'm like, oh, the blonde. I was like, oh my God, yeah. Hello, Maddie. Hello, Bethany. Hello, Molly. Or hello, just maybe those 2, because they were down at the whites for a minute, right? Molly's walking up and, oh, here, handing them the, oh, okay, I'll give it to Xana. But then I was like, wait, that can't be. It can't be that Maddie is with Bethany at 2:52 because she's calling her. Okay. So I was able to say, okay, so then that would make sense that maybe Maddie is by herself, right? And then that would be calling. But then I was like, maybe she's actually with Kaylee. Ah, yes. 2 blondes, Kaylee, Maddie. They never call each other, right? Yeah. Interesting. Or they could just be standing out there in the back, or even if they're looking for Murphy. Molly runs into them because she's bringing that food. Oh, they gave it to her. She never hits the button. And then they're calling Bethany to see if it's hers. Then Xana, but she doesn't answer. And then Xana never calls back, which would tell me that Xana didn't need to call back because Xana already got it. So this whole thing about coming and getting this DoorDash at 4:01, okay, remember they weren't able to use steps anymore. They're unable to put Xana going up a flight of stairs. That's why they said that She couldn't interrupt a killing upstairs because they basically couldn't attribute that to her phone. So they had to walk that back. And not only could they not attribute it to her phone, but then they also couldn't attribute to the evidence. Oh, well, maybe it's because Xana was actually in possession of that a hell of a lot earlier. And it's just Molly didn't hit the button. And maybe we need to look at it differently with this whole message. Was that actually DoorDash saying, are you, are you having trouble finding the place? That does not sound like a college kid writing that. That is like an automated. Are you having trouble finding? Are you having trouble finding it or finding the place? Whatever. But that doesn't. I'd be saying, where the fuck are you? I ordered this shit at 2:15, bitch. If you're 21 years old, 20 years old, 19, drinking, are you having trouble finding the place? It's only been an hour and 45 minutes. Come on, man. Get out of here. Release these phone records. Release these phone records. Now, moving on to the stomach. Well, yeah, that'll probably be released one day. No problem. Yeah, because that's going to be, yes. I think that information would, if you just asked for that, I bet you would get it. Give a call in. Now, let me tell you what happened to me today when I talked to Moscow. These motherfuckers are wild. It's a long weekend. I'm thinking, oh, they're going to be in the best mood ever. They had Monday off. Like, even I'll give, I just won't mess, hey, we'll give them Tuesday. Yeah. Well, they reach out to me today and I'm like, okay, what do we got? Yeah. It's a FOIA. They're responding to me at public records, whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, what do we got? They tell me that they're denying me my latest request because it's overly broad. And I said, oh, I know that I'm not overly broad because I am one of the most specific bitches you're going to find. Shit, I'm going to read this to you guys. I said, you've got to be kidding me. Okay. So. Okay, City of Moscow. Lana, please see the attached in response to your public records request. Kind regards, City of Moscow Public Records Team. I said, okay, thanks. Usually it's never in its existence ever said, like, the City of Moscow Public Records Team. It's usually a person. Dear Lana, the City of Moscow received your public records request attached on May 3rd, 2026. Your request for information falls under the Idaho Public Records Act. Pursuant to Idaho Code 741024, a public agency may require the request for public records specifically describes the subject matter and records sought in sufficient detail to enable the city to locate such records with reasonable effort. Your request is overly broad. You failed to provide the statutory required information for a public records request. Therefore, your request is denied. If you want to submit a new request with all the required information, including more specificity in the records you are seeking with identifying details, we will process your new request upon receipt. I said, let me read you my request. It says describe request. I said, ISP supplemental 68. Summary. Or I'm sorry, ISP supplemental 68. So I'm telling you the report number. I'm telling you that the report was by Matt Heinel, whatever his fucking last name is. Summary. Neighborhood canvas on November 19th, 2022. Requesting any recorded phone calls pertaining to letter G, page 3 of the third of the report. It says page 3 of 3 of the report. Requesting any text messages pertaining to letter G. Requesting the airdropped screen recording video, as well as the later video that was shared pertaining to 0413. That's what they were labeling it. How the fuck is that overbroad? Excuse me? I am telling you where to find the fucking thing. I am telling you the name of the officer. I am telling you exactly where to locate it on the report. You're shitting, right? So then I said, oh, hell, how do I want to respond to this? I said, hello, Moscow, because they didn't give me a name. Hello, Moscow. How is this overly broad? ? It's one specific supplemental report that was filed with Idaho State Police and then turned over to Moscow Police Department. I provided the supplemental report number, the officer's name on the report, and labeled the letters within the report that I'm seeking the same way that the report had it labeled. I'm seeking the audio recordings of those neighborhood canvas interviews and any communication material that was provided by the person being interviewed, which again is labeled within the report as existing. The report said it was attached to the records and supplied a number, so I shared that as well. This info is on a disc, and if this helps you locate it with ease, this info is on discs, and this should help you locate it with ease and efficient with the proper material I'm requesting. So in conclusion, would I have to appeal that I think that this request is not overly broad and in fact very specific, and it falls within the scope of the material allowed to be examined? What the fuck? You guys, I don't get it. I could see if I just said, hey, I want everything you got on Molly McMichael. That's overly broad, Lana. I gave you everything you could possibly imagine and then some. So this is crazy, right? Now, good news. A couple days prior, let me pull it up. We've been working on this. Oh, hell yeah. Take a look at this puppy. We're going after this drug policy shit, right? We're coming for your asses. So here, let me just share this. I'm going to put up on the screen. Take a look at this. Tina, Lana, the homie James Reiner just dropped an interview with Steven Shrilla. If you haven't seen it, Steven Shrilla. Well, he's from Cleveland. He should get it. Well, that's good. That's awesome. I'll have to take a look at that. That's fucking titties. All right, so take a look at this. This is from our girl, our whistleblower. She doesn't even know it. Jessie Dexter. Dexter. I love it. Jessie Dexter, come on down. All right. Allie Talley says I want to get that. Hold on one second. Their evidence room, records room, lack thereof, messier than the crime scene they demolished. Just taking a guess. You guys, they did turn things over and they said that we are going to be running it like WSU is running it. And so therefore, I don't even know what to expect, but we can expect that it's all digital now. Okay, so check this out. This, my friends, is just recently, February of 2026, Blaine County Sheriff's Office. Notice of award and grant agreement for the fiscal year 2026 Partnerships for Success Law Enforcement Grant. Dear, the Office of Drug Policy, what the heck? The Office of Drug Policy is pleased to announce that the Blaine County Sheriff's Office has been selected to receive a Partnership for Success Law Enforcement PFSLE grant award to implement substance misuse prevention activities during federal fiscal year of 2026. Congratulations. Woo! Okay. So this is what it looks like. Woo! The Blaine County Sheriff's Office application received an average score of 89 out of 120 or 74% from the review committee. So if interested, additional reviewer feedback can be provided upon request. ODP acknowledges the important work that the Blaine County Sheriff's Office does to prevent substance misuse in your community and has identified the organization as a worthy applicant. The total funding award is $20,857.93. Please review the following grant agreement in full for award terms, conditions, and funding details, including Exhibit 1, which is the grant funding allocation overview, Exhibit 2, blah, blah, the activity schedule. And then I was like, oh my God, we're going to get a sweet ass example. We require that you sign and return the grant agreement within 10 days of the date of this notice. If we do not receive a signed grant agreement from you within that time frame, the grant award may be withdrawn. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. Oh, great. Awesome. Blaine. You guys know where Blaine is. That's where supposedly Brian Culver is just like pinging away. Grant agreement. This is what it looks like. Okay. The grant award period. Services funded via this grant award shall begin no sooner than February 3rd. Like this is how strict it is. And will cease no later than September 29th. Oh my God. You guys, what were they doing? What were they doing? Remember, this year's different. Grant program project funding allocation. The prevention provider shall utilize grant funds as outlined in Exhibit 1, which we're going to show, and detail the award. So take a look. Grant services, prevention provider role. ODP requires that the administrator activities as outlined in. So we're going to get to that. Let's go like this. Use of funds. You guys, look at how detailed this is. Oh my God. This is on fire shit right here. Where are you, Moscow? Let me see your party fucking patrol shit. Okay. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be off the chain. This is going to be wild. No wonder why they quoted us $2,300 to literally drag a file. And we responded. We got a really good response in. You guys, this says how it all has to happen, you know? Payment of grant funds. ODBP and the state of Idaho will pay within 45 days of receipt of reimbursement requests. There you go. Oh, looks so good. Grant activity reporting. Q1, February 3rd through March 31st. It's due April 10th. Period is April 1st, May 31st, June 1st, July 31st, August 1st, September 29th due dates. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So you have to quarterly report. Can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Relationships. Nothing in this agreement creates a partnership or employer or employee relationship. Data collection. All records and documents related to this agreement, including but not limited to a fiscal record, shall be available for review, audit, and copying by ODP and state and federal inspectors or auditors for a period of 3 years, beginning February 3rd, 2026, as a state entity. Blah, 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 wow, of liability. Each party will be responsible only for liabilities associated with the conduct of its officials, employees, agents, and volunteers, subject to the provisions of the Idaho Tort Claims Act. Each party shall promptly notify the other party of any claim arising under this agreement and shall cooperate fully with the defending party or its representatives in the defense of such claim. Yeah, just act like it didn't fucking happen on your watch. Assurances, sounds good. Compliance. Oh God, this is just priceless. Accepted and agreed. Make sure you go ahead and sign there. Blaine, Mike, patrol captain. Woo! Oh boy, look at that. It breaks it all the way down. Prescription medication misuse, $402. Now wait till you get to this. Illicit opiate misuse. Okay, like they're supposed to be like adding this up, and it says staff budget 402 for that. Staff budget 7,200. Mileage budget 1,400. Other budget nothing. Methamphetamine use staff budget 83. Mileage budget same thing. And then we get to exhibit 2, which is here's the activities. So the prescription medication misuse prevention, and I about fell out of my chair. Do you guys remember when I put out a huge FOIA that we got back so long ago? And I was like, you guys look at this returning of the medication that you don't take. That's part of this. Look at this. Right here, prescription medication misuse prevention. All activities will be documented and tracked to identify trends, ensure accountability, and support required reporting. The Blaine County Sheriff's Office will partner with the DEA. No, the fuck you didn't. Wow, see? They're letting people know that, hey, we're partnering with the DEA. For the 30th National Prescription Drug Take Back Day in April of 2026. To provide Blaine County residents with a safe, anonymous method of disposing of unused, expired, or unneeded medication. The Sheriff's Office will utilize grant funds to support one patrol sergeant / canine unit for 8 hours of work with a minimum of 4 hours supporting with the National Prescription Drug Take Back Day collection site event. Collection site event take place from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. nationwide. And an additional 4 hours for planning, promotion, preparation, event wrap-up, and medication disposal coordination. Well, okay. The Blaine County Sheriff's Office will use their lieutenant detective, patrol lieutenant, and 3 patrol sergeants. Then we got to go to this next one, which is, what's this next one? The opioid misuse. We're going to use, wow. So we have the county sheriff's office will use lieutenant detective, patrol lieutenant, and 3 patrol sergeants to conduct targeted distribution. Do you see this? Targeted distribution and interdirection efforts focused on just disrupting illicit. How do you plan on doing that? What's that mean? Conduct targeted distribution. Does that mean what I think it is? Those are controlled buys. Oh, hell. Is that a controlled buy or what? Is that what I see here? I mean, oh, shit. What do you guys think about that? Am I misreading that? I mean, is that what that says? Look at that shit right there. Okay. During the grant award period, approximately 2 to 7 targeted illicit specific opiate distribution and interdirect dictation operations will be implemented in identified high-risk areas across Blaine. No way. What does that mean? What is that? It says approximately 2 to 7 targeted. Who are you targeting? Can't wait for this demographics. Like, who are you targeting? Methamphetamine. The Blaine County Sheriff's Office will utilize 8 staff, including 3 patrol corporals with 1 canine unit, 3 detectives, and 2 patrol deputies to analyze county-wide methamphetamine-related data such as law enforcement incident reports, arrests, seizures, EMS responses, and partner provided information to identify high-risk locations, emerging trends, and community vulnerabilities, aka surveillance data will be utilized to guide distribution. Dude, do you have any idea what we are looking at? We're going to get our hands on. Do you understand that plainclothes operation on the night of the murders, this detailed shit, this is what it should be looking like? I have a feeling that we are in for a wild next couple months before August of when they're convening. This is crazy. Wow. So this is their monitoring and surveillance from February 3rd through September 29th. And then they're doing the same thing with distribution. The Blaine County Sheriff's Office staff will utilize surveillance findings to conduct targeted interdiction efforts in identified high-risk areas across Blaine County to disrupt methamphetamine distribution networks and seize illicit drugs. Oh my God. Approximately 5 to 7 targeted sessions will be implemented during the grant award period. Enforcement activities will be focused on meth, specifically prevention and same thing efforts, and coordinated with partner agencies when appropriate. That means they are working with the DEA, just like they were in Moscow on November 13th, 12th, 13th. They were working. What do you do this by yourself? Give me a break. Who was Moscow partnered with? I believe they were partnered with the FBI. I believe that shit, for all we know, they could have had a team put together because we need to track, because we think that the WSU police are fucking crooked and we need it. They're coming into our town. So we're going to check them out because they're trying to fuck our students in our fucking field, in our suites, in our loges. Damn. We're going to find out. I don't even know what to think. Ooh, all I know is that this is what it's supposed to look like. And yeah. So look at this. Then it says staff budget, item description. Garrett Ruckel, patrol sergeant, K9 unit, 8 hours at $50.25 an hour. $402 for him for that. And then, then we have Stephen Hansen, lieutenant detective, 23 hours at $55.78 an hour. So he's working and getting $12.82. Fabrizio Lozano, patrol lieutenant, Alan Compton, Brad Meacham, Garrett Ruckel, and then there's travel. And then take a look at this, okay? This says it's funded at a reduced amount because I'm going to show you what they did here. Funded at a reduced amount. Watch what she did. She has to review that this is what they requested. And then it says domain 3 subtotal, total domain 3 budget. Okay. So what this would mean is that if, let's say that like you're supposed to put the people that are going to be doing what you're supposed to be saying that you're doing when you're using with this grant money, Rosie and Tisdall better be on that list. That's all I got to say. Now, category staff budget, funded at Justin, Carrie Taylor, John Louder, Jordan, Krantz, Morgan, Kish, Levy, Lindley, Dallas, JC. Okay. Now she writes something in here. I don't know if it's at the end. Right here. The Blaine County Sheriff's Office application received a score of 74%, which is below the 75% threshold necessary to receive full funding. Why? Additionally, nearly 600,000 in PFSLE funds were requested in the fiscal year of 2026. So nearly $600,000. Where the fuck is Idaho getting this money? With only 350,000 available. So with the request that came in, there was $600,000 in requests. They only had a budget for 350,000. As a result, the review committee had to be increasingly disconcerting on how funding was awarded, ultimately due to the low application score and the weak responses for Section F3. Activity description. Thank you. Those are weak ass descriptions. And your action plan sucks. And Section F4B, your staffing budget justification, yeah, that sucks too. The committee chose to fund the opiate misuse prevention staff budget at 75% of the time requested. Like, what is all this shit? Like, they were just literally trying to scam fucking federal money. Staff positions that had 40 hours of requested time were awarded funding for 30 hours of time. And staff positions that had 30 hours of requested time were awarded funding for 23 hours of time. The hourly wages remained the same though, but we're not giving you all these hours. Then wait till you see they're adding problems. Similarly to the statements above for the opiate misuse prevention budget reductions, due to the competitive nature of the fiscal year 2026 funds, the Blaine County Sheriff's Office low application score and the weak responses for Section G3, activity description, and action plan. Because of those weak ass, responses, the staff budget justification, the committee chose to fund the methamphetamine use prevention staff budget at 75% of the time requested. So again, then here is where they don't know how to add. And Miss Dexter is all over it. She says, right here, but y'all can't, the committee chose to fund the methamphetamine prevention mileage budget at 75% of the miles requested. The applicant requested funding for 7 sessions of 400 miles each. Where the fuck are y'all driving to in your little towny community? 400 miles in 7 sessions, divide that by, what are you all doing? So think about this. So then I started thinking about, the night of the murders. Dude, they're going back and forth over Washington and W. They're all working together on this shit. Who left early? Whitman. This is crazy. I believe that Moscow 1000% would have partnered with, a federal agency potentially, but definitely why wouldn't they work with WSU on this? They would. They totally would. Totally would. But when I'm thinking, this is like a little town, Blaine. Like, come on. 400 miles? 7 sessions of 400 miles each? 2,800 miles? Dude, do you guys know how many miles that is? I'm sorry. Like, wait, what? Each session, 400 miles. What? Wow. And was awarded funding for 7 sessions of 300 miles each, or a total of 2,100. So they requested for 28. And guess what? They were only given 21. And I'm like, why are they given 2,100 miles? Does anybody have any idea how many fucking miles that is? a lot of miles. That is so, but get this. Do you understand? Do you understand what this means for us with 2020, well, technically 2023 fiscal year? Rosie and Tisdall would be tracking all of their miles that night. So can we just go ahead and attribute, remember when Tisdall said that he's like, I made 3 loops. I need to grab a stupid freaking thing. Where is it? This little ass hat. I'm like, oh my God, he knew about the 3 loops, okay? Because he's over here. Okay. ISP, where's my MPD? He would have to be so specific with this because he would know everything that he was doing because he has to clock his miles. So when they go in to say, hey, I'm working, I'm doing this. Okay, how many miles are on that car right now? We just got these hybrids, there's 12,000 on this one. Okay, 12,004. That's where we start the night off. And at the end of the shift, okay, where are we at? 12,115. So right there, 111. 111 miles. I'm going to let you know, so with these people, everything has to be so. Also, please note in section G5, a mile budget, the applicant requested a total mile reimbursement of 2,800. This is a miscalculation as 7 sessions times 400 miles is 1960. Idaho. Isn't that special? Miss Dexter did not just say, okay, we're going to believe their math. 7 sessions times 400. And they're like 2,800. And she's like, what? No, it's 7 sessions times 400 miles times 0.70 equals 1960. That's what she says. And I'm over here like, I don't care. One of y'all are wrong, right? Yes. And then I said, okay, I want to know one last thing is what were they putting down in their activities to say what this description was? So when you go up here and you reread like G, A, B, C, D, E. Well, where's G? 6151. Where the heck is? Where's their use of funds? Training regarding program reporting and evaluation processes will be scheduled after February 3rd, 2026. They have to get trained for shit. So let's go on to the next thing that we did. So then let's go with when we wrote back. Where is this bullshit? Here. Okay. On May 25th, we challenged because they responded. When they said it was $2,300. Okay. So to Lori, point of contact, I am writing in response to invoice number blank, dated May 22nd, 2026, estimating $2,398.92 in fees for my public records request. I respectfully challenge these fees on the following grounds. Nature of the records, number one. Number two, mandatory retention by MPD under OPD grant recipient assurances. Number three, disproportionate attorney fees. Number four, narrowed and specific scope of requests pursuant to Idaho Code 74-1029. And so here's the breakdown. This is the argument. So the nature of the records already public and submitted to a state agency. The requested records related to the Moscow Police Department's participation in the Idaho Office of Drug Policy grant program. These records were submitted by MPD to ODP as part of the grant application and reimbursement process. As such, they are public records submitted to a public state agency and are not proprietary or sensitive in nature. No attorney review or redaction should be required. Number two, mandatory retention by MPD under OPD grant recipient assurances. Per the terms and conditions of each PFSLE funding grant awarded by ODP, compliance with all assurances is mandatory to receive grant funding. OPD requires all grant recipients maintain detailed records on all grant-funded activities, including date, time, number of participants, and nature of services delivered under the grant award. Furthermore, to receive grant funding, applicant organizations are required to maintain detailed records related to all activities reimbursed, paid for by the grant funds, and included in reimbursement requests. ODP has the right to audit grantee payments and reimbursement requests both before and after payment and to contest any billing or portions thereof. ODP remains the right to audit these records at any time. Because MPD was required to maintain these records as a condition of receiving grant funds, they should be immediately accessible without significant staff time for retrieval. Disproportionate attorney fees. The invoice includes 13 hours and 51 minutes of city attorney time at $106.01 per hour, totaling $1,468.24, more than 61% of the total estimated cost. Given that these are standard grant records submitted to and received from a public state agency with no expected basis for redaction, the level of legal review is not justified. Idaho Code 74-102 does not permit fees for excessive legal review of straightforward public documents. Number four, narrowed and specific scope of requested pursuant to Idaho Code. Pursuant to Idaho Code 74-1029, which authorizes a public agency to assist a requester in narrowing the scope of a request when a response is likely to be voluminous or require payment, I am hereby narrowing my original request to the following specific records pertaining to the ODP PFSLE grant awards received by the Moscow Police Department. Specifically, I request only the following records, each of which MPD was contractually required to maintain and have readily available for each fiscal year, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. The PFSLE grant application submitted by MPD to ODP, including but not limited to the proposed activities, description, action plan, as well as proposed staff budget or budget justification for each proposed program for each of the years above. Holy shit. I mean, I could go on. Do you guys want me to go on? I mean, Lori got a fucking fistful. Lori, I love her. Lori is the slam, but hey, Lori, listen, I'm going to make your job super easy here. You're going to tell all those motherfuckers at Moscow to kiss your ass, and you're going to drag over each one of those file folders and put it in a request and send it on back to me. And that'll take you lickety split about maybe 10 minutes. And we're going to call it a day. Okay? We're going to call it a day. Allie Tally says 20 people need to become green men. This is the Green Man Group. Thank you so much, Allie Tally. Shake it, everybody. Shake it, shake it. Member for 24 months. Kelly, how have you been, girl? Love you, Lana. Best channel out there. Thank you for all of the great lives for the past 24 months. Yes. You are very welcome. Absolutely. 3 babies almost. Angel, what's up, girl? What's up? No redactions. Love always truth. I know. You're like, where's my membership? Make sure your membership, you have to make sure that you can accept them though. So there is a button that you have to click for that to be able to accept the memberships. So what do you guys think here? The other thing is when we get to it's like here, I'll just read it right here at the end. All overtime reimbursement requests submitted by MPD to ODP for each of the following years. All detailed records on completed reimbursement PFSLE grant funded activities, which indicate the date, time, number of participants, and nature of services delivered under the grant award. According to publicly available MPD annual reports, Officer Eric Warner with the Moscow Police Department applied for and oversaw this PFSLE grant process. All the above requested records are part of the grant application, award, and reimbursement process as outlined by ODP and should therefore only require a minimal amount of time for Staff/Officer Warner to retrieve these these records. Additionally, the publicly available audited City of Moscow comprehensive annual fiscal or financial reports include the total amount of grant funded reimbursement to Moscow Police Department per the award parameters beginning in 2019. Retrieving the supporting records should not require a substantial amount of time. These records are precisely defined, limited in scope, and already required to be maintained in organized form by MPD as a condition of grant funding. These documents are further required to be made available for audit by ODP at any time. The city should be able to locate and produce these records with a minimal staff time and without attorney review, as they contain no information that would be warranted redactions, motherfuckers, okay? Requested relief. I respectfully request that the city, A, waive attorney review fees as no redactions are anticipated for these grant compliance records. B, reduce staff time estimates to reflect the mandatory retention of these records in readily accessible form. C, provide an itemized explanation of why 13 plus hours of attorney time is necessary for these specific records, if included in revised fee estimate. D, issue a revised fee estimate based on the narrowed scope described in Section 5 above before requiring any deposit. They want $1,100 up front. Reconsider the original fee estimate in light of the argument set forth herein. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Have a great evening. Lori. We're not going to get bent over anymore. The fuck are they doing, right? There. I hope that they say appeal and then copy, cut, paste, sending it on over. Oh, by the way, I reached out. I haven't heard anything back yet. I've been looking for lawyers. And I also contacted that Kennedy woman. She's been ghosting me. Sons of bitches. Who else do we hit up and we have to take care of? Oh, ODP got back. That was the other thing. Jesse Dexter got back for that. So we hit him on both ends. The public records to the OD for the to Jesse Dexter. And she said, thank you for submitting your public records request to the Idaho Office of Drug Policy. Before we can proceed, we need the following clarification. Scope of request.
At the beginning of your request, you state that you request access to and copies of all public records related to the Partnership for Success law enforcement grant program administered by the Idaho Office of Drug Policy. And specifically, I request all documents associated with the PFSLE grant program. However, the specific items listed in the including but not limited to section appear to relate exclusively to the Moscow Police Department. Please clarify whether your request is limited to requests associated with Moscow, or do you just want it all over? We fixed that. That was just a typo. This distinction will help us respond accurately and efficiently. Then she decides to say, fee information. Fee information. Per Idaho Code 74-102F, a fee waiver is not applicable to this request. However, ODP will provide the first 2 hours of processing at no charge, with any additional time billed at the resident rate. Once we receive your clarification, we will estimate the processing time required and provide a fee calculation before proceeding. Please reply at your earliest convenience so we can move forward with your request. Best, Jesse. I said, oh, thank you so much, Jesse. This was such a fresh breath of fresh air, Jesse. You're going to give this to me at the residential rate? Thank you. That's really kind. And you did not say that you needed a lawyer, girl. Okay. Okay, girl, I see you. You my little whistleblower and you don't even know it. Again, guys, welcome to Truth and Transparency. Happy, what is it? Hump Wednesday night. We love it. Did you guys love that episode? We did. Me and Birdie did. I thought that you guys would. We really need to find Molly. Okay. I mean, we need to find Molly. This isn't about harassing her. This isn't about anything. This is just, she probably doesn't have access to the internet, and she probably just doesn't know that we want her to go on Good Morning America, like AKA Truth and Transparency, and have an interview and just tell us about her experiences. You know? I guess we're just going to have to put some more FOIAs in about Molly. By the way, Translucent sent me a phenomenal just kidding email. I think she's absolutely lost her fucking mind. I mean, I have no idea, but I'm going to read this. This is fucking hilarious. Where's this shit? Oh, hold on. Okay. May 26th, 4:53 p.m. Seriously, stop saying Molly's name like she deserves to die, and stop hyping up trash people. It's weird and honestly gross. Period. Send. Seriously, stop saying Molly's name like she deserves to die, and stop hyping up trash people. It's weird and honestly gross. I respond, LOL, excuse me? Stop lying in FOIA requests and pretending to be Dylan's sister, weirdo. Molly doesn't deserve to die. Are you nuts? Period. Like, what the fuck? The fuck is wrong with people? I just offered to buy her fucking FOIA request for her, and then 2 days later she's telling me, seriously, stop saying Molly's name like she deserves to die, and stop hyping up trash people. It's weird and honestly gross. I said, LOL, excuse me? I said, stop lying in FOIA requests and pretending to be Dylan's sister, weirdo. Molly doesn't deserve to die. Are you nuts? And then just send it back. I haven't heard anything back since May 26th. I have no fucking clue what some people decide to like eat bath salts. I don't know what they do with their lives, but I couldn't stop laughing. I said, Bella, you want to see the best email I got today? I said, it's only 2 sentences, maybe not even. Seriously, stop saying Molly's name like she deserves to die. And stop hyping up trash people. It's weird and honestly gross. I couldn't believe this email. I was like, I just offered to pay $100 and some for her to fucking have some goddamn FOIA request. What is she talking about? And I was like, I definitely have to comment though. So she wrote me at 4:53. Okay. I hit send at 4:55. Okay. Because it popped up on my phone. And I was like, seriously, stop saying Molly's name. I'm like, what? Maybe this is Molly. Then I saw who it was from. I was like, what? And so literally within 2 minutes, I hit send. And this is all I wanted to say. LOL. Because I could not stop laughing. LOL. Excuse me? I said, stop lying in FOIA requests and pretend to be Dylan's sister, weirdo. This last name says fucking Mortensen on it. Haley Marion Mortensen. Okay? I said, Molly doesn't deserve to die. Are you nuts? But I told her that she should stop pretending to be Dylan's sister. Weirdo. Anyways. Fucking A, man. What a great past couple days we've been having over here. You guys, between Turtle Boy losing his load and his fucking people over there because I don't know, showing the truth. Yeah. And then all these FOIA requests that we're dealing with, and then Molly, and then fucking Jesus. What else did I get the other day that was... Oh, wait. The best part was the title of the fucking email. Duh. It said, grow up. The email said, grow up. Grow up. It was grow up was the title of this email. Grow up. Grow up. I'm like, fuck, what? Seriously? Stop saying Molly's name like she deserves to die and stop hyping up trash people. It's weird and honestly gross. Grow up, Lana. What? May 26th at 4:53. I said, oh, okay. Well, here's my thoughts on that. Well, LOL, excuse me, stop lying in FOIA requests and pretend to be Dylan's sister, weirdo. Molly doesn't deserve to die. Are you nuts? Grow up, bitch. You know? I just don't even know what to say. Fucking A, man. Where is that? What day was that on? Oh, here. Oh, God. This is... Oh, fuck. Let me tell you about this. So I said I would pay. I said, okay, I'll pay for it. I get an email. And she says, this is my username. This is my user email. This is my password. And I said, what the fuck? Why are you sending me this? I don't want your username and I don't want your password. And it was for this invoice for this FOIA request, this public records request. And it had to do with, what's his name? The football coach. And I said, okay, I'll pay for it. I can just call Moscow and pay for it, I believe. Are they now using this different system than before? I said, this is how WSU does FOIA requests. So I just wanted to call and pay for it. Send it to her. I don't want anything to do with this, but I'll pay for it. Then she says, I saw you tried to reset my password, but I pretended to be Dylan's sister from Boise so we would get the Idaho discount. Just pay it. I won't download it or use it. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? She said, she said, I saw you try to reset my password, but I pretend to be Dylan's sister from Boise so we can get the Idaho discount. Just pay it. I won't download it or use it. You can just have my account. I said, I can't get in. Can you take a picture of what this request is and what all you wrote to request it? Because I'm over here like, do you know who I am? You think I'm going to get down with this shit? You pretended to be Dylan Horton's sister and you want me to get. I said, can you please take a picture of what the request is and what all you wrote to request it? I can't get into it. Did you change my password? And I'm like, nope. I didn't. It says you can change it, but I did not. And this is the funniest conversation. She says, so it's my email and password is Fred Jaffucka 1 to 1D. I said, oh God. Fred Jaffucka 1D. I said, nothing back to that. If they ask you why are you not from Idaho, just say you are my aunt. I said, I don't respond to that. Then she says, love you, Lana. XXX translucent crew. I said, I'd rather just send you the money and you can close out the FOIA. She says, I don't think it will reveal anything new. I'm just going to skip this one. Okay. Dead. Full disclosure. Dead. I said, are you shitting me? What just happened there? What just happened there? And I said, okay, well, just, I got so many things to do. I don't got fucking time for this. I was just going to buy it for you. Then I found out that she was like, I'm Dylan's sister and you're Dylan's aunt. And I said, get the fuck out of here. Okay. I ain't nobody's aunt. Okay. I'm not Dylan Hortonson's aunt, but I'm over here just like, what's going on? Then you had to understand how surprised I was to receive that on the 26th, like it was just like, she's like, I'm just going to pass on that. I'm like, okay, great. I didn't respond to that. I'm like, to each their own. Okay. Go, you have to sign under the pains and penalties of perjury that you live in the state of Idaho. Okay, people, I'm not fucking that way. So then the best thing is that a couple days go by. That was the 21st of May. Then on the 26th, I get grow up. And I said, what the fuck is this? Yeah, Lana, grow up. You hear me? Grow up. And I said, get the fuck out of here. This is wild. But I just keep laughing, because I thought it was literally, I laughed. I literally chuckled for a good 10 minutes, just like I did here tonight. Just grow up. Grow up? What is this bitch talking about? Grow up. I offered you $100 to buy your voice. Okay. Grow up, Lana. Why are you promoting trash people and saying Molly's name like she deserves to die? I'm like, actually, no. I want to hang out with Molly. I definitely don't want her to die. I think that she may have bad juju around her. Everybody dies around her. Yeah. So stop hacking me, Lana. Totally. Hey, can one of the mods click on Wellington? Can you click on that and see when that account was made? What year?
My guess is 2026 today. Let's see if we're right. Can't even type. Cat is crawling on me. Oh, grow up, Allie Tally. Damn you. So, anyways, you know what? There's probably a couple people in life that you just say to yourself, I would never get in a car with them. They would never drive me anywhere. Molly, totally top 3. I would never get into a car with Molly. Ever get in a car with Molly. And like, even if she wasn't the driver. Never. And then if she was the driver, oh, hell to the fuck no. Like, you couldn't pay me $1 million to get in the car with Molly. So, are there people like that in your life? Like, never. Molly, put you on the channel. Okay, is Gray Hughes live right now? If not, I'm gonna play something for you guys. We're gonna close out with a good laugh because I think this has been a phenomenal live. But I need a good laugh before I go to bed. And of course, Gray Hughes. Me, if I don't ever watch him, but one of my good friends does, only for the purpose of trying to see how long it takes for him to freak out on his people. Like, he loses his shit on people. And so I have a little clip here. I want you guys to see it. Okay. It's under bad actors. Gray Hughes. And I thought there was one that just came out a couple. Where is it? It's something recent, like a couple days ago. I swear. Let me make sure I'm right. Yeah, here.
I mean, look at right now. Why is there only 66 people here, you guys? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I just think it sucks. You know, I make a 45-minute video, and the average watch time is maybe 10 to 13 minutes, and you just can't get people to watch it. But man, you make a 30-minute video about absolute garbage. They got their popcorn out, and they're just, ooh, this is so great. Sick. What? No, wait. "30 seconds in, and exactly the way I always am." Okay, so you know, what we don't need is your play-by-play, because I'm sure you're quite the B word on your own on the side. You know what I mean? Like, just off to the side. You know what I feel worse for, Joseph, is idiots like yourself. All right. Every time you look in the mirror, you must be ashamed of yourself. Yeah, so I wonder what you look like, Margaret. I'd like to see it. Why don't you send us a picture? What is that? Yeah, I get it. Let me get rid of it.
Margaret, send us a fucking picture, goddammit.
Person. See you later, Margaret. All right, good. So you're already blocked. Good for you. Who are you talking about, Mike? You seem like you're crazy, Mike. You say a lot of just ludicrous things. Duet. It should be dimwit, not duet. Might want to get that changed. It'll be more appropriate with your name. Change it to dimwit. All right? I think that works better for you. Yeah. No, it is frustrating, George, but we don't need you around anymore. Yes, it is frustrating. Linda, I'm ungrateful for idiots like you. Okay? I am really frustrated that we have a night like this where we have an opportunity and so few people were not interested. And I think that makes you ungrateful, Linda. So get the hell out of here. You're a pile of shit.
Linda, you fucking pile of shit. Linda.
Linda, what the fuck, Linda? Grow up. Grow up. Linda.
All right. Right. So here's the thing, everybody. There's been times lately where I go, "Hey, everybody, yeah, we're trying to reach the goals. If there's a way you can help support the channel tonight, that'd be absolutely fantastic." And nobody does a nickel. That's the part I don't like, is asking. But if I don't ask and I don't try to push for it, then I know we won't make it to where a certain point where we can also give. That's the whole thing. It's like, I'm like, this is a whole nother show, you guys. But if you're out there, if you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. Hey guys, what about helping support the channel tonight? We're really starting off coldly. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be fantastic. That's how the channel survives, is by the people watching supporting it. All right, you guys, we got another challenge in here. Oops, we're having one of those massive lulls again. So if we could get the 5 individuals to gift 1 membership, they'll match that. Okay, all by themselves. So they'll do 5, and 5 of you just do 1. Hey, we need 2 more, you guys.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I don't even know what the fuck any of this shit is. The hell? Gray who's trolled arrangement syndrome? What the fuck? All right, guys. I mean, shit. He's very entertaining. He needs to he needs to change like he should be he's a comedian. Like, he's funny. Brandy J gifted 10 True the Transparency memberships. Thank you so much. Just, I feel bad even accepting right now because we're talking about Gray. Brandy J. Brandy J, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I mean, same thing, Angel. I mean, god damn it. Okay. The best is when he starts off at the beginning. He's like, I don't even know why I'm here. There's like 13 of you guys here. Why am I here doing this? Why am I here doing this? There's 13 of you here. Listen, Linda, we don't got time for this shit. Just what a ball bust. Just when life hands you lemons, make some lemonade, motherfuckers. Brandy, that was amazingly sweet. All of you guys, amazingly sweet. Meanwhile, in Lana's channel, we're almost all green. Everybody's green. Don't tell Gray that, man. Okay. It's just funny. It's just funny to me. I think one of the best videos is when he got pulled over. Yeah, definitely when he got pulled over in Moscow. That was pretty hilarious. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, with that said, I think that's everything I had. Tomorrow I have a really good show at 9. Yeah, but you can go check out those ball busts over there. I guess YouTube Bad Actors or something like that. So go enjoy it. I'll see all of you guys on the flip one. Have a great night. Thank you guys again. Let me know what you think in the comment section about Molly and this whole. I mean, there's only so many cars that she could be. She definitely did not come up into the wheelhouse of the camera of 1112 King Road. So she had to stay on Taylor for the first 2 trips, and we're able to eliminate a bunch of vehicles, and it puts her at 251 arriving and then leaving if she's in this truck, which is a white truck, and it would have been her talking to the undercovers. So, all right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Thank you, moderators. Much appreciated to all of you guys. Oh, Angel, thank you. Allie Tally. Allie Tally is turning the whole damn chat. Thank you so much. My voice is going too, so got to drink some tea. Cheers. Peace out. Be careful. Everybody grow up. Grow up, damn it. Peace out.